Any apologies? I presume nothing. We're going to move on. With that being said, we're going to ask for the disclosure of interests by councillors, Schedule 7 of the Code of Conduct for councillors in item 6. Apparently, I'm busy breaking up. Is that? I think it's at your service and not mine. I'm going to continue. Disclosure of interest by councillors, Schedule 7 of the Code of Conduct for councillors, Item 6. Disclosure of benefits by municipal staff members, Item 5 of the Code of Conduct for municipal staff members. Do we have any declarations, please, or disclosures? Please put your hands up. Councillor Suffers, your hand is up. Okay, there's no hand.
Speaker, we can't hear you. You're breaking up. I mean, we hardly can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you clearly this side.
We can hear you, Speaker.
Yeah, I think that the issue is not with me. I think it's with your connection and not my connection, Councillor. So the majority of the people can hear what I'm saying. So therefore, I'm going to continue. I've received no disclosures. Chief Whip, I see your hand is up.
Speaker, I just wanted to say that you are clear on my side as well.
Thank you. So therefore, I'm going to take it as my connection is 100%. And if anybody has a connection which is broken, I suggest that we sort that out on their side. Thank you very much. Councillors, please watch your microphones. I have a microphone that's on. I'm asking you to put your microphone off. Thank you. I'm going to move on to item 3. Item 3 is matters at discretion of the Speaker. I believe that the Mayor might have something to read in. Mayor, am I correct?
Good morning, Speaker. Yes, indeed. It's just the amendments of the committees of council. Can I go ahead?
You may go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under our Section 80 Committee, Civil Engineering Services, Councillor Verity Bevier replaced ex-Councillor Edmund Busak. Under Electrotechnical Services Committee, Councillor Verity Bevier replaces Edmund Busak. Under Community Services, Refuse and Environmental and Parks, Councillor Richard Hector replaced Charlotte Clark. Under Human Settlement Committee, Councillor Richard Hector replaced Councillor Erika Brown. Corporate Services, Councillor Erika Brown replaces Charlotte Clark. Human Resource Committee, Councillor Richard Hector replaced Charlotte Clark. Under the MPEC, Councillor Marizan Mentor replaced Alderman Johan Stander. The Jipton Section 79 Committee, Councillor Verity Bevier replaces Edmund Busak. Urban Development Committee, Councillor Marizan Mentor replaced Charlotte Clark. EPWP Oversight Committee, Councillor Verity Bevier replaced Edmund Busak. And then under our LLF, Councillor Marizan Mentor replaces Alderman Johan Standard. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. That's the changes, and I believe that would be the last for this term. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Appreciate it. We'll move on. At this stage, we're
Sorry,
moving
Speaker.
on.
I want to raise my hand, can speak. Mayor, I don't hear anything about ANC.
Councillor,
councillors.
Councillor Lento, first of all, I have not recognized your hand, and I haven't recognized you asking. The mayor read in the changes to the committees, and if you do not agree with it, remember these are committees of the mayor. You may take it up with the mayor after the meeting.
Speaker, it's not about I'm not agreeing. We
I
did
understand,
submit everything,
Councillor. Okay, I'm not going to get into an argument. online with you. You may take this up with the mayor afterwards, and I'm going to be moving on.
Can you give the mayor the chance to talk? Maybe he will respond, Speaker.
Councillor Lento, can I ask you to please just respond to me? I've asked you to keep your microphone off. Let's not turn this into a circus this morning. I've made a ruling. The mayor has made his changes, and he can discuss it with you afterwards. Thank you. I'm going to continue this meeting. 4.1.
I'm a chief whip of the ANC caucus, Speaker. Here in this council, Speaker.
Mayor, would you like to answer? I see your hand is up.
Thank you very much, Speaker. The compilation of this committees is usually reside with the help of the chief whip. I just received an update in terms of the corporate services. It was not on my document in front of me, so I would like to read in the record under corporate services that Councillor Lento replaces late Councillor Barukule. Thank you very much, Speaker.
And Gyptin Mayor, please, the last one. Thank you. Councillor Toto.
Councillor Lento, would you like to chair this meeting? Because honestly, you're doing
I can share because on the 4th of November, your Speaker.
Councillor Lento, I'm going to give you a first warning right now. Okay, starting this meeting off like this is not going to do anybody any good. You speak through me to the mayor. We need to start bringing back a little bit of discipline in this council. Chief Whip, your hand is up.
Thank you very much for the indulgence, Speaker. Speaker, the list I've got in front of me has got 2 changes for the ANC. If the Executive Mayor would please indulge us with this. I do not know which one admin maybe gave him, maybe a previous one. The Gypton committees was replaced by Councillor Toto, replaced by Councillor Mrkule. So if the Mayor can just indulge us in that. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you, Chief Whip. There are protocols in a meeting, and I just am asking every councillor to maintain that protocol. We cannot just put our microphones on and speak. Mayor, thank you for putting your hand up. You may continue.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Yes, I want to apologize for that. The list there's so much happening in politics that there's a new list every day. But nonetheless, Mr. Speaker, the correct list is on the 25th of August. That's today's list. And under the Gypton, we have Councillor Simpiwe Toto replaces the late Councillor Mrkule. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Speaker, you must learn to say sorry. Sorry.
Councillor Lento, I'm going to give you a second warning because I've just asked you to put your hand up. Okay, I do not have to say sorry. I gave the Executive Mayor the opportunity to speak, and you did not follow protocols. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to item 4.1. Mayor, you can read in the adjustment budget, 2026-27 budget, August 26 by the Executive Mayor, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Councillors, good morning. This item deals with the rollover for our own funded capital projects from the previous financial year into the current budget. At its core, this is a positive item. There are no abandoned projects, failed projects, or cancelled projects. These are projects where the procurement process has largely been completed, contractors have been appointed, work is underway, and the funding remains available. The purpose of this adjustment budget is simply to ensure that these committed projects can be completed and delivered to our communities. The total rollover amounts to approximately 123 million rand, increasing the capital budget from 797 million rand to 920 million rand. Councillors will know that over the past 2 years, the municipality has had to contend with significant uncertainty regarding the public transport network grant. The municipality repeatedly engaged National Treasury regarding the non-approval of the PTNG rollover and the associated funding implication. As a result, we were forced to adjust and readjust our capital program several times to protect municipal finance while maintaining a momentum of key infrastructure projects that inevitably affected the timing of some of our own funded projects. However, let me be very clear, Mr. Speaker. The narrative that unspent capital budgets mean poor communication are being neglected and simply not correct. In poor communities, apologies, Mr. Speaker. Many of these projects rolled over are precisely the projects that benefits our communities most directly, including water, sanitation, roads, stormwater, electricity, public safety, and community infrastructure. The question is not whether these projects will happen. The question is whether we manage public funds responsibly enough to ensure they are completed properly. And the answer to this question is yes. We have a proven track record of doing just that. The municipalities should not be judged merely by how much budget is approved on paper. It should be judged by whether projects are properly planned, properly contracted, and ultimately delivered to residents. This adjustment budget demonstrates exactly that. The funding remains available, the projects remains committed, the work continues. Our task now is to ensure that every possible rand of this own-funded capital program is converted into infrastructure, services, jobs, and economic growth for the people of George during this financial year. So I therefore commend this item to Council for approval. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. The first person to speak on the item is Elder Lady Kritzinger. You have 4 minutes.
Good morning, Speaker. Good morning, Executive Mayor, colleagues. Thank you so much for the opportunity. As the Mayor has alluded, the purpose of this item is to obtain Council's approval for the adjustment budget in accordance with the Section 28 2E of the MFMA, read together with the Regulation 23.5 of the Municipal Budget and reporting regulations. And as the Mayor has alluded, this is own funds. It's not new funds. It's not new projects. The adjustment provides for the rollover of capital projects from the 25-26 financial year and could not be completed by June 2026. In many cases, procurement has already been concluded and implementation is underway. The rollover, therefore, allows these projects to continue, ensure that the approved funding is used in its intended purpose. The adjustment increases the 26-27 capital budget from 797 million to 920 million. So the increase is approximately 123 million that's being rolled over. It is important to emphasize that a rollover does not represent new projects or unnecessary additional expenditure. It provides for the continuation and the completion of projects already approved while maintaining the required financial and legislative oversight. I therefore recommend to Council that we adopt the recommendations A, B, and C as per the agenda. Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor Kruger, your microphone is on, please. Thank you. Oh, sorry, Alderman Kruger. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Honey. You have 2 minutes, please.
Molweni Speaker, ne-councillors zonke. Speaker, siyayiqwalasela indaba ye-adjustment budget because siyabona ukuthi imali eninzi ifakwe kwa-civil for i-rollover nakwalantika nakwa-electrical. Kodwa ke loo nto ayisothusi, Speaker, because siyayibona ukuthi imali eninzi apha ifakwe kwicala sedolophini for i-rollover lotyanga uzayo. Kweli area zethu akho nto eyenziweyo. Umzekelo, eMucheplug phaa ePakasdorp kunezipali zazifakiwe phaa noba zine-3 years zombane zikenziwa up until today. Ookhansila basePakasdorp bayingqina endithethayo nezinye i-political organizations zamakhaladi kwelaa cala. Ethemba lethu sineproblem yetransformer ezicima oko, especially uward 12, uward 21 noward 9. Banengxaki amatyotyomba amanintsi angade afakelwe imibane nengxaki yetransformer. So ibudget ke yakamasipala we-DA ijonge only ii-areas ezidevelop, aziprioritayizwa izinto, kuqalwe ngezinto eziyinidi. So kunzima kuthi ukusapota into esibonayo ukuthi ayizuza kuthi. budget kamasipala waseGeorge adjustment ne-roll over yayo yonke into abayenzayo ijonge only areas eziphuhlile kakade. So siyayicela ke siyazi ukuthi lo nyaka siya kunyaka ama-election. I hope zonke i-political party zaseGeorge ziyayiqwalasela ukuthi abantu abasokolayo abahoywa ngumasipala waseGeorge. Enkosi.
Thank you very much. Can I have a translation, please? Councillor Honey, your microphone is still on. Thank you.
Greetings to the Speaker, councillors. Speaker, the ANC says that they have noted the adjustment of the budget, but the most concerning issue is that it only looks at civil and electrical departments, the entire rollover. And it does not surprise them that monies are only used in the already developed areas like in town and not in their areas. For an example, there's an area, Mugoploeg in Pakistan. There were poles planted 3 years ago already, and nothing has been done. Those councillors in the area of Pakistan can witness that. It makes an example of Timberlake to Ward 12, Ward 29, and Ward 9, that there's always an electrical breakdown, there's disturbances, where there's no sustainable electricity, and they're looking at the budget. The budget is looking at areas already developed. It is difficult for them to support such proposals. And for now, it is an election year. He wishes that all political parties of George look at what is being done and how it is being implemented. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The next to speak on the item is the PA. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the people deserve better. Speaker, the chairperson and long-suffering residents and communities owns Baizani. We are here today to listen to the sympathetic excuses, wrapping in beautiful jargons, but to expose the stark reality, the deliberately sliding of our people through gross administration failure in financial mismanagement. When we look at the state of the civil engineering budget, the numbers does not lie, even if the administration attempts to explain it all. A 112 million is in rollover in the civil budget. How is this acceptable? The civil engineering budget is a staggering 112 million. Let us be completely frank about where the money was meant to go. Who is bearing the burden of this failure? This rollover is overwhelming and is overwhelming and must have been spent mostly in the communities of Pakistan and Tembaletu. These communities could have jobs, opportunities created for them, and could have had something to put on the table. But unfortunately, due to lack of administration, this thing has not passed. Speaker, this is just an example of the budgets that are being spent, also being sent back.
Sorry,
the
Councillor.
housing budgets.
Sorry, Councillor. I
Yes.
have a point of personal explanation by on 31.1.1 by Councillor Gultig about something that you've said. Councillor Gultig, is it about something that the councillors? Hello?
Thank you, Speaker.
Hold on,
Can you hear me,
Speaker.
Speaker?
I can't
Sorry.
hear-
So there's somebody talking in the background there somewhere, Councillor Gultig. Can everyone put their microphones off? I've asked Councillor Gultig. You've raised a point of personal explanation on 31.1.1. Raise your point, please.
Thank you, Speaker. We just want to know the 31 million, is daar al uitsluitsel oor daai gelde? En dan wil ons net weer die fietsse en die fietshelms, is hulle nog in die stoor toegesluit?
Councillor, that's got nothing to do with what the councillor is saying. Please control yourself. I apologize, Councillor Goeieman. Continue, please.
Yes, Speaker, that is out of order.
I've ruled it as such, and I've silenced her. You can continue.
Yes, because she's totally out of order. I can also ask, where's the 6 billion?
Councillor, continue with your speech, please.
Yeah, Speaker, it seems the clowns are now also jumping up on the other side, but let's continue. It's the same Speaker that we had with the housing budget that was sent back due to the fact that it was not spent. And this thing has been not started now, Speaker. It has been coming for years that money is rolling over or money is not spent. We need to come to a point where we spend the money. And we also would ask, when we will draw up new budgets, include the communities in Cornwall and budgets for roads also. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next to speak on the item is the PBI. You have 2 minutes.
Good morning, everybody. I have a problem with my computer. That's why I'm using my colleague's laptop now. Speaker, we as the PBI take note of the adjustment budget report before us today. We place it firmly on record that we are here with a clear mandate from the people of this town, especially those communities whose voices are often ignored. Having a budget is one thing, but to deliver on what you budget for what you promise, and what the council agreed upon. Look at the conditions under which many people are still living, particularly during this harsh winter season. There remains a massive backlog of residents waiting for basic assistance, such as repairs to leaking asbestos roofs and proper temporary structures. Yet we continue to see budgets being adjusted without sufficient evidence that the most vulnerable residents are receiving the priority they deserve. Speaker, Ward 5 is a clear example. In Protea Park and the Valia, residents are still struggling with inadequate road infrastructure, while just across the road from Pick and Pay towards Van Kerwel, residents in the more affluent areas enjoy properly tailored roads and
Finish off, please, Councillor. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to finish off, please. Your time is up. Councillor, continue. There seems to be another technical problem here. Just give me a second, please. I don't know what's happened now. Councillor, can you try unmute yourself and continue, because all the microphones are unmuted, please?
May I continue, Speaker?
You have 5 seconds to wrap up, please. Your time was up.
It is becoming increasingly clear that the DA Framework and ACDP coalition is failing to give the marginalized communities of George the attention, dignity, and service delivery they deserve. Government must serve all residents.
Thank you, Councillor. Your time is up, unfortunately. Thank you. The next to speak on the item is the EFF. You have 1 minute and 15 seconds. You may continue, please. EFF, your time starts now. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Speaker and everyone. Councillor Norma is having problems logging in, so I'll go on. Speaker, we as the economic freedom fighters would like to state clearly to this council today that we are totally rejecting this rollover that speaks only to one racial group. We reject it for its racial segregation approach and for its imbalances. Speaker, it is highly imperative that this municipality takes into consideration that the African-dominated areas cannot be treated as equal to areas of white people whose places are well developed compared to our African and Black areas in particular. Speaker, this budget doesn't add up when we look at the operational budgets compared to the capital budget that includes the 3 major national treasury projects that are supposed to be at least by now implemented in our areas, which are not yet implemented as per the plan. Speaker, these delaying tactics are not only to sideline our people in our areas, but they are a sign of the corrupt element and unaccountability of the DA-led coalition. Speaker, we as the EFF...
Thank you. You've got 2 seconds to continue.
Reject this corrupt adjustment
Thank you,
budget.
Councillor. Your time is up. Thank you. Your time is up. Thank you. I'm going to continue with the last speaker, and that is for the reply. We have the coalition. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I rise to second this item and to support the recommendation before us. I want to focus on one number because I expect this will receive the most attention today, the 122 million. Now, it is very easy to look at a number and say, here is the money that was not spent, but that is not the full story. This is not a request from Council to approve 123 million worth of new projects. It is not unnecessary additional expenditure. It is a request to allow already approved capital projects to continue into this financial year because they could not be finalized by the 30th of June. And importantly, the report tells us that in many cases, procurement has already been concluded and implementation is already underway. So the question before us is not simply why was every project not completed by the 30th of June? The question is, do we want these approved projects to continue, or do we want to stop the projects that are already underway? Because when we look at the next year aid, this is not money disappearing into an accounting exercise. This is roads and stormwater, sewage, pump stations, wastewater, water network, and water infrastructure that our communities can actually see being built. We heard a comment today that work in Thembalethu represents new projects. Speaker, I want a factual correction. The Thembalethu projects contained in this adjustment are not new projects being introduced today. They are reflected in Annexure A as rollover projects. The annexure includes Thembalethu water, stormwater of 600,000, rehab of Nkansi Street, 1 million, transfer station, 800,000, sewerage network, 2.5 million. If we go and we take Pax and Thembalethu reservoir projects, these are not simply numbers on a spreadsheet. Residents can see the infrastructure being constructed. They can literally see the towers already in the environment. So we need to distinguish between a project not being completed within a financial year and where it's supposed to go. Those are not the same thing. Money has not disappeared. The money is physically there, and we are ensuring that the project gets completed. And this is precisely why we should finish what we have started. The work must continue, the projects must be completed, and the communities of George must ultimately see the benefit. I therefore support the adjustment budget, the amendments to the SBBIP, and updating and submission of the formal budget tables as recommended.
Thank you, Alderman. On time. The item therefore carries. There are no amendments to the proposal. We'll therefore move on to item 4.2, the tabling of the IDP budget and MSDF time schedule for 27-28 by the Executive Mayor, Alderman Johnson. You may go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Deputy Mayor, fellow councillors, Alderman, our acting municipal manager, senior managers, officials, members of the public. It is my pleasure to table the 2027-2028 IDP budget, PMS and MSDF time schedule for the consideration and adoption by Council. The time schedule has been prepared in accordance with Section 28 and 29 of the Municipal Systems Act of 2000, Act 32 of 2000, and Section 21 of the Municipal Financial Management Act of 2003. The planning cycle is particularly important as it follows the 2026 local government election and provides for the preparation of a new 5-year integrated development plan for 2027 till 2032. The time schedule set out the key activities, responsibilities, and timeframes for the integrated planning, budgeting, performance management, and spatial planning processes. It also provides for the necessary public participation and engagement with our communities, ward committees, government institutions, and other stakeholders. The process will ensure that the IDP, the budget, the performance management system, and the MSDF are properly aligned and that our strategic priorities are translated into realistic programs, projects, budgets, and measurable performance targets. Mr. Speaker, the time schedule further provides for the development and approval of the SDBUP following the approval of the annual budget, ensuring that Council priorities are translated into clear service delivery commitments. Honourable Speaker, Councillors, the successful implementation of this process will require the commitment and participation of Council, the administration, and our communities. I therefore would like to recommend that Council consider and adopt the 2027-28 IDP budget, PMS, and MSDF time schedule as the framework that will guide the municipality through the year's planning cycle. And I thank you.
Thank you very much. The next speaker on the item is Elder Lady Kritzinger. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you so much, Speaker. Thank you very much for that, Mayor, our Executive Mayor. We all know the responsibilities as far as this is concerned. In this item, it appears largely to be administrative, but it is an important first step to ensuring that our planning and budgeting process for 27-28 financial year are properly coordinated and legally compliant. The time schedule provides for a roadmap of the key activities, the deadline, and the public participation process that will guide the amendment of the IDP 27 to 32 in preparation of the 27-28 budget, and also the review of the municipal spatial development framework. The process cannot take place in isolation. The IDP determines our development priorities. The budget provides the financial resources to implement those priorities, and the MSDF guides the spatial development of our municipality, and the SDBUP translates these commitments into measurable actions and performance targets. For this reason, synchronizing these processes is essential. It strengthens the accountability, ensures that what we plan and what we budget for and what we ultimately deliver to our communities remain aligned. I have just one request regarding the recommendations A, B, and that we also add as a recommendation C, that the roles and responsibilities regarding the Executive Mayor and the Speaker be in line with the Council delegations, and I specifically refer to the reference or with reference to Section 5 of on page 19 of the Annexure A of the document attached. I therefore propose that Council adopt these recommendations. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on the item is the ANC. You may go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
Good day, Speaker, Executive Mayor, Councillors, and the entire community. Speaker, now we're on extra time. This is a final touch. Speaker, the ITP is not just a document. It is our promise to our people. The budget is the tool to deliver that promise. Here in this municipality, we just talk, like on the talk show, about this IDP. We don't implement. And also to call the community, like in our community hall for 10 people. We can't do like that. It's not professional. This municipality for us as an ANC is just a disgrace, because we submitted our IDP project long time ago, in year 2021, but now it's 2026. But there's a lot of things that are still outstanding. What we must do as a George municipality, for how long our community must wait for the project? Because we were afraid to go each and ward to ward, like in our ward, colored areas, Cornville, Borgers, all these areas. But the only this municipality is doing is crucifying these councillors of the municipality. This municipality is not the municipality only for the DA, it's for our people. Don't just only check for those people who voted for the DA. And we can't have an IDP that is written only on the paper. We must go to the community, we must talk to our people. And you, Speaker, when Zalando yasesikolweni ukuthi wenza uvala ngawo unyaka. Yayiphele lanto and I'm done goyiki ke mnake. Come for November, the proposal dance, Speaker, will show you. For November, the proposal dance will show you. Come, and it's your last time to be a speaker now. I'm telling you. Thank you.
Can I have a translation, please?
I'll be closing the year by you. Watch come the next election. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on the item is the PBI. You may continue. You have 2 minutes, please. PBI, your time has started.
Speaker, mic is on muted.
Oh, if you're not, I can hear you, so you can continue, please.
Still nothing. She's going to use another laptop.
Councillor, I do not have control over her mic at the moment. It can be unmuted, so she needs to talk because her time is running. Thank you.
Can you start the time again, please?
Councillor, I'm going to turn it back to 1:50. I can't waste time. Unfortunately, I did give her the opportunity and she could move on. So she can speak on any microphone she wants to. Continue, please.
Okay, dankie Speaker. Speaker, ons as PBI neem ernstig kennis van hierdie item voor die raad vandag. Die IDP moet regtig begin spreek vir ons verskeie gemeenskappe. Daar kan nie aanhoudende IDP meetings gehou word in gemeenskappe nie. Inwoners lewer hulle insette en wat hulle graag wil sien, maar baie min kom van dit. Ons moet ons mense se stem begin respekteer. Inwoners verdien basiese toegang tot munisipale dienste, verbeterde infrastruktuur en werksgeleenthede. Gemeenskappe wil positiewe resultate sien en wat hoop en stability bring en ontwikkeling moet regverdig en inklusief wees. Dit moet alle gebiede bereik, ongeag ligging of sosiale omstandighede. Die PBI sal voortgaan om 'n streng oorsigrol en toesig oor die raad uit te oefen. Hierdie IDP moenie net 'n administratiewe dokument bly nie, maar die uitvoering van pligte moet realiseer. Dankie, Speaker.
Thank you. Can I have a translation,
PBI
please?
of nuts.
The PBI say thank you, Speaker. And that the PBI takes notice of the document now in front of this council, and that the IDP must not only speak, but it must speak to the people, and the IDP must recognize the inputs of the people, because people are putting their inputs into the IDPs as they are waiting for the services that must be delivered. They're looking for work opportunities that is fair across, and that the IDP must speak to all areas, not only certain areas, and that the PBI will play an oversight role over council now. And the document must not be only an administrative document, but it must be a document with deliverables. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillors, I have a point of order in the chat box. Councillor Gultig, point of order 28.2.1. What is your point of order, please?
Thank you, Speaker. The ANC member made a remark that was improper towards you, Speaker. I request that the member withdraw the statement, please.
The statement. What's the statement?
What's the statement? I was talking.
Councillors, I haven't recognized anybody. Could I please ask the interpreter to interpret the Xhosa version of that, because obviously it was addressed at me and I would like to know what the councillor said.
Speaker, it was said by the speaker that he remembers during the school days that a person will say, I'll close the year by you. Note that, Speaker, he's not afraid of you, and then come the next election, he will show you. Thank you, Speaker.
I do take that as a threat, and I would ask you to retract that statement. Councillor,
it's not a threat, Speaker.
It is a threat.
It's not.
Councillor, did I recognize you? By saying
no, but you must. Xhosa is our language.
Councillor, 100%. Councillor, I'm not going to get into an argument about this.
Yeah,
I take objection to it, and I'm asking him to withdraw that. By telling me he will make me see is a threat to me.
That is why I'm saying you don't understand. You don't
I'm
understand. Whether you shout or not, you don't understand.
Okay, that's fine. I'm
You
going to take
can-
this up afterwards, and I will charge him after the meeting.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
It's fine.
I'm going to continue. The
Speaker.
next councillor.
Speaker.
All I've asked you to do is withdraw the statement, and you obviously
Can anyone of you understand because I can explain to you?
Councillor, I don't need an explanation on council meeting. I've taken objection to what you've said based on what the councillor said. I did not understand you. I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue. Thank you.
Yes.
Councillors, I'm going to continue this meeting. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Legodlo. You may continue. You have 1 minute and 50.
Speaker, my hand is up.
Councillor, you've written nothing in the chat box, so I'm not going to recognize you. We're going to continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Greetings, colleagues. Apologies for being late, network problems. Speaker, we cannot approve or consider the unfairness and power abusing approach that doesn't value the views and the rights of its community members. We have experienced the misuse of power and the abuse of power by the municipality when it comes to consultation processes. Speaker, Annexure A of this document speaks very nicely of the Municipal System Act, which this municipality doesn't fully follow when it comes to the rights and activities of the members of the local community, as they have a right to oral submission and communications. It will also bring justice and fairness to the illiterate and those with no resources to partake and contribute to the planned development of their areas in town. Speaker.
Councillor Toto, thank you very much.
Which this municipality doesn't follow when it comes to the rights and activity of the members of the local community, as they have a right to oral submission and communication. It will also bring injustice, fairness to the illiterate and those with no resources to partake and contribute to the planned development of their areas in town. Speaker, it is high time that the DA-led coalition abusive approach when it comes to community engagement comes to an end. The Municipal System Act, Section 21, stipulates very clear the importance of community engagement and the different mechanisms that should be used to satisfy and fulfill the purpose of the process. We reject this budget and time schedule with a proposal that it must be put on hold until the new administration of political office barriers takes over. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. We're going to move on. The next to speak on the item is Councillor M. Barnard. My humblest apologies. My paper was taken away from me. The next is the Councillor Fichlan. Thank you.
Speaker, thank you. Speaker, the item of today deals. Can you protect me, Speaker? The item that was.
Sorry, just 1 second, Councillor. Councillors, I'm going to ask everybody to control their microphones because this is now continuously happening while other people are on the floor. And I'm going to put it like this. If I catch you with your microphone on again while somebody's on the floor without being recognized, I'm going to have to disable your microphone completely. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the item of today deals with the specific point of the IDP, the budget process, and everything that goes with it. This is a timeline that was tabled by the executive mayor. It's the start of a process. It is not the process itself. And it's actually a shame, Speaker, that we're sitting at the end of our term and some of our colleagues is treating this item as if it is the budget, as if it is the IDP, and if it is the public participation process itself. Colleagues, it is not. Let's go and familiarize ourselves with the content of legislation. And this coalition that is leading George has been doing it so in line with the relevant legislation to the point. It is unfair of any party to sit here and say that this coalition has adopted an abusive attitude when it comes to public participation. We've exhausted all avenues at our disposal to ensure that public participation processes are inclusive. And I look forward to the 5th of November when we continue leading this George municipality in line with legislation, in line with what is proposed, and we will make sure that we govern for all people in George. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The item therefore carries. I'm going to...
Did you hear the councillor was speaking the same language I was speaking?
Councillor, I'm now going to give you your last warning. Seriously, I do not appreciate you continuously interrupting while I'm busy on the... it's basic protocol and respect, and you're showing no respect to me as a speaker. I'm going to continue with this meeting and consider that your last warning. Otherwise, I'm going to have to remove you from this meeting. You cannot continue doing as you please during this meeting. Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is 4.3, reporting the 2026-27 information statement to the Municipal Council. The first person to speak on the item is Elder Lady Kritzinger. You have 2 minutes, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, Executive Mayor, members of Council, it is important to clarify that this item is not asking Council to approve a loan agreement or authorize any borrowing at this stage. The purpose is to report is simply to comply with Section 46(3) of the Municipal Finance Management Act, a process to secure external loan funding of approximately 489 million to finance capital expenditure already approved for the 26 in the 26-27 capital budget. The required information statement was made public and published in the Burg of the 8th of August 2026. Councillors will note that the repayment schedule and estimated cost are indicated only based on an indicative interest rate of 11% and 5 and 15 years repayment scenarios. They do not constitute a final borrowing agreement. Most importantly, no loan agreement has been signed, no banking institution has been appointed, and no final borrowing commitment has been entered into. The supply chain management process is still underway. Once the process has been finalized, a separate report will be brought before Council seeking approval to conclude the borrowing agreement. Therefore, there are no immediate financial implications arising from this report. Any actual financial implications will be presented to Council when approval for the borrowing agreement is sought. Speaker, this is a procedural and legislative compliance item. Council is being asked to only note the information statement and not to approve the proposed loan. I therefore support the recommendation that Council note the information statement and particulars of the proposed long-term debt compliance with the MFMA. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Elder Lady. The next to speak on the item is the ANC. You may continue. Councillor Lente, it's your turn to speak. Now you may speak.
I'm audible, Speaker.
You are audible.
Okay. No, that's bang for you. Good morning, Speaker. Good day, Speaker. I can hear you are reporting this statement. Does it include updated status quo on the housing backlog, like water, sanitation, electricity, and roads for Timberlake to Pakastop, Maria Camp, or those areas? How many community needs from 2025 to /2026 IDP were not implemented, and why are they carried to this 2026 to 2027? Speaker, if you can answer. For human settlement, does the MSDF make land available for the affordable rental flat? Not those ones that we saw last week. It was last week somewhere, last week. How will we ensure participation of farm workers, informal settlement, and youth on the 2026-2027 process? Speaker, can we get a commitment that final IDP budget and MSDF for
Councillor, sorry, I think you've gone right off the topic here. This is a report, Councillor. Hold on a second.
It's a report.
Councillor,
I understand.
Okay,
Speaker.
hold on a second, Councillor. It is a report for noting. So with the result is we can, Councillor.
Yes, Speaker, I'm listening.
Listen to me for a change, please.
No, someone's talking, not me.
Whose microphone is on?
It's me.
Councillor, what I'm saying to you is this report is for noting. And therefore, we are not going to answer any questions regarding the report. It is a report of something that has happened. So therefore, it is your responsibility as a councillor to read the report. And if you have any questions, you are welcome to take it up with administration. It is a report for noting.
Yes,
that is
Speaker.
it. Thank you very much. You may continue. Thank you.
I'll do so. Thank you, Speaker. We note this report, Speaker, as African National Congress.
I thank you. We're gonna move on. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Kitt. You have 2 minutes, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the issue before us today is not simply a statutory requirement under the MFMA. The real issue today, Speaker, is the financial position that this municipality is now being placed in. We are being asked to note and to consider borrowing almost 489 million rand, while at the same time we're facing significant reductions in external funding, including funding linked to the Go George program. Speaker, we have to be very clear here that borrowing is not funding, that borrowing is a liability, and that ultimately that liability is carried by the people of George. So before council commits residents to hundreds of millions of rands in additional debt, this municipality must be transparent about which projects have been affected, how much external funding has been lost, what engagements have taken place with national government, and what alternatives have been pursued. Speaker, you should agree with me that residents deserve to know exactly what they are being asked to pay for, why they are being asked to pay for it, and what has been done to secure the funding that was previously expected. The Good Party will not support a blank check, and council must protect ratepayers, demand accountability for the funding shortfall, and exhaust every avenue to restore external funding before loading another 489 million onto the municipality's balance sheet. Speaker, this council needs to show some backbone because the ratepayers are not an endless source of funding. They are already paying rates, tariffs, and service charges, and they deserve a municipality that fights for every possible grant and external funding opportunity before reaching for the debt book. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. The next person to speak on the item is the EFF. You have 1 minute, please.
Speaker, as die EFF wil ons ernstig beswaar maak teen die wyse waarop hierdie item aan hierdie raad voorgelê word. Ons praat van 'n voorgestelde lening van 489 miljoen rand teen 'n aanduidende rentekoers van 11% met 'n moontlike terugbetalingstydperk van 15 jaar. En tog word ons verwag om dit bloot te nout. Speaker, hierdie is 'n klein administratiewe aangeleentheid nie. Dit is potensiaal 500.000 rand skuldverpligting wat toekomstige rade en toekomstige belastingbetalers sal moet dra. My probleem hier, Speaker, is hoekom nou? Hierdie raad se termyn eindig oor ongeveer 2 maande. Waarom jaag 'n raad wat staan op die punt om uit te tree nou in 'n langtermyn finansiële verbintenis van hierdie omvang? Speaker, hierdie verslag bevestig.
Thank you. Councillor, your time is up, please.
Teruggebring word. Die
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Councillor. Councillor, thank you. Councillor, thank you, Councillor. Your time is up. Can we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. The Speaker said now, they're taking a serious objection against what is tabled in front of the council today, which goes with a loan of about 489 million, with the interest of about 8%, and in a payback time of 15 years. And it's expected for them now to note the item in front of them, which is about the 500,000. And for him saying that it is now for these outgoing councillors to carry this burden, and it's only for them 2 months now before they go out, and now they're creating a burden for those who are still come to it, that are coming in, for them to come in a long-term agreement that is already in existence. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the translation. The next person to speak on the item is the coalition. You may go ahead. You have 2 minutes, please.
Thank you for the opportunity, Speaker. I'm not clear on why we're talking about percentage. Alderman Krishna clearly stated it is important to remember that today's item is not about approving a loan, but about following the legislation process requiring from the MFA before Council can even consider entering into a borrowed agreement. This is not a blank check. Council has already approved the amount for this year's budget. The real question is not whether George can afford to invest in infrastructure. The question is whether we can afford not to. Delaying critical infrastructure investments risk constraining economic growth, housing development, job creation, and service delivery to our residents. Speaker, this council has a duty to care for the people of George. The council must care enough to keep the water flowing. The council must care enough to keep the lights on. The council must care enough to keep our city clean. And this council must care enough to invest in new and upgrade infrastructure to create local jobs, unlock economic opportunities, support housing development, and prepare George for a future growth. The decision we make today is not only about finances. They are about building a municipality that is resilient, sustainable, and able to meet the needs of both current and future generations. Let us choose responsible governance. Let us choose long-term planning. Let us choose a future where George continues to grow, prosper, and deliver service that our residents can rely on. In short, the spending for just Maletu is more than 51 million. Pakkelsdorp, more than 53 million. And of course, even Uniondale and Uniondale and Haarlem of over 20.9 million. Therefore, I'm more than happy to second the report. Thank you, Speaker.
The report is not being adopted, it's being noted, so it's no second needed.
Thank you.
We'll continue with the next item then. Thank you very much. 4.4, which is the investigation, is contemplated in item 15, read with 16 of the Code of Conduct for Councillors, Schedule 7 of the Local Government Municipal Structures Amendment Act number 3 of 2021, alleged breach of Code of Conduct by Councillor F.M. Darker, coded during council meeting. The first to speak on the item is Councillor Neetling. You have 2 minutes, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. If we can move over to the recommendation, please. That is on a couple of pages down. Almost there we are. You will notice that this has been done already, and the recommendation is there on that specific page in front of us. Only one thing that I would like to mention, and that's keep in mind, and this is for the the personnel section, that there's money involved here that's got to be taken from councils or that they pay it in. Just take note of that, but otherwise I propose the recommendation as is. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next to speak on the item is the ANC.
Thank you. Can you hear me, Speaker?
I can.
Okay. Let me first thank Councillor Neetling for ushering the item into this council meeting. One, I think, Speaker, if you speak about the process that the councillor went through, the process itself, it's not to exercise any punishment, but if it is anything to go by, or the reason for it is to do what you would call, it's one of the measures that wants to change behavior, not to punish. Now, the verdict handed on this particular matter, Speaker, it's punishment. It's nothing else but punishment. That is one. Two, I would not want really to speak on what happened because you are going to say I am speaking on the merits. And I was not in the disciplinary hearing, perhaps to put my view across or to represent the colleague. But I want to bring it under attention as well that there is inconsistency in how we do things here in this council. Recently, we have seen a barrage of your reports coming here, especially those that are for the opposition councillors. And yet for the ruling party, there is nothing happening. The recommendations are only punishing those that are on the opposition side or opposition benches. Nothing. We're still waiting for a letter that's coming from the minister or the MEC of local government that is about one of your own. Until today, I'm not sure if it's a fair exposition that you should not continue with your own, but you must patch the others. So I think it's nothing but a political perjury that you are busy with. And I hope that if it is anything to go by, that they've got fairness in this, you're going to allow us or you allow those that you have charged and persecuted to have their space to appeal. Because really, there's quite a lot that is missing even in this item. The said person said that she did report to the committee that she's not going to be available, but there is nothing that is said here, but only a punishment that is ended. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. The next to speak on the item is Councillor Yesu. You have 2 minutes. Councillor,
Good morning all. Speaker, the PA is outraged by the unequal treatment of councillors. Today we are asked to punish a fellow councillor of unruly behavior during a council meeting by taking away a salary. We're taking away ability to provide for a family. There are councillors with more serious misconducts. Speaker, if there's accountability, then let there be accountability for everyone. If rules apply to one councillor, let it apply to all. We cannot preach fairness while accepting apartheid-style treatment. Speaker, we are tired of being hung for minor flaws while those sitting in the ruling benches are being protected. Speaker, I want to encourage my fellow councillors in the opposition to be strong because, please note this, freedom is coming on the 4th of November. Thank you, Speaker. Salute. Salute.
Councillors, I have a point of personal explanation. Councillor Gultig, you're standing on, arising on a point of 31.1.1. What is your point of personal explanation, please?
Thank you very much, Speaker. Dit is nou immers Vroue Maand en ons praat oor ernstige ondersoeke. Ek moet mos vra of die PA se mayoral candidate bail gekry het vir sy domestic dispute.
Councillors, I'm not going to let this turn into a circus. Councillor Gultig, I'm going to give you a warning. This is the second time I've spoken to you about it. Okay, I understand exactly what the frustration is from the opposition, and I'm not going to let
point
this.
of order.
Councillor, I'm already addressing the point of order, and I'm going to give Councillor Gultig, I'm going to give you a warning. I'm going to ask you to refrain from making such statements. Thank you. Councillors, everybody that's talking whilst I'm talking is also transgressing the rules of order. So I suggest you please put your microphones off. I've made a ruling, and Councillor Gultig, you have your first warning. Thank you.
Yes, can we give her maybe a second warning?
Councillor Foster, I'm going to give you a first warning because I have not recognized your hand, okay, and I'm not taking instructions from a councillor how to run this meeting. Okay, I'm now going to say that the microphones that come on, I've given the councillor a warning, I've made a ruling, and that is my ruling. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm just saying because
Councillor Foster, your microphone is still on. You obviously don't listen to when I talk to you. If it comes on again, I'm going to give you a second warning. Thank you. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Carter. You have 1 minute, please.
Speaker, die PBI neem kennis van hierdie besluit voor die raad. Maar ons kan nie stil bly oor die wyse waarop disiplinêre optrede binne hierdie raad toegepas word nie. Ons wil ons diepe ongelukkigheid en ernstige kommentaar uitspreek oor wat duidelik na 'n selektiewe toepassing van dissipline deur die DA, Vryheidsfront Plus en ACDP regering lyk. Die beginsel moet eenvoudig wees. Dieselfde reëls moet op elke raadlid van toepassing wees, ongeag politieke affiliasie of posisie, Speaker. Speaker, binne die geleedere van die regerende koalisie is daar raadlede wat volgens bevinding van die raad se eie prosesse ernstige oortredings begaan het. Tog sit sommige van hierdie persone steeds in hierdie raad vandag, neem deel aan vergaderings en tree op asof gewone reëls van aanspreeklikheid nie op hulle van toepassing is nie. Dit laat 'n uiters ernstige vraag ontstaan. Is daar een stel reëls vir die oppositie en 'n ander stel reëls vir die regerende party, Speaker? As 'n raadlid deur 'n bevoegde proses aanspreeklik bevind word, kan daardie bevinding nie bloot geïgnoreer word omdat die persoon deel van die regerende meerderheid is nie. Dit ondermyn die geloofwaardigheid van hierdie raad en skep die indruk dat politieke mag belangriker geword het as verantwoordbaarheid. Speaker, die inwoners van George verdien beter. Hulle verdien 'n regering wat deursigtig, eerlik en
Councillor, your time is up. Thank you very much. Councillor, your time is up. You should be watching the time as well, please. Can I have a translation, please?
Speaker, the latter speakers noted that the report tabled in front of this council, but they cannot keep quiet. It is unfortunate that they're going through a selective process, which is that disciplinary measures are not consistent and not the same, and not the same rules apply to the coalition partners, and it's only made to the opposition. And there are those who are sitting in coalition benches, which are respecting the rules, but still are given the opportunity. And to them, the rules are not applicable. And they have been not qualified to sit there, but they're still there, which means that they can undermine the rules and the roles of this council. George people deserve better. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Councillors, you can put your hands down unless you put something in the chat box. The rules of order are very clear that you put your case in the chat box before I acknowledge you. So, councillors, please, I'm going to continue with the next person to speak on the item, which is Councillor Lemony. You have 1 minute, 30 seconds, please.
Speaker, hierdie proses wek ernstige vrae oor billikheid, konsekwentheid en politieke partydigheid. Waar was die behoorlike opleiding oor die gedragskode? Hoe kan raadslede nou so aggressief aangekla word indien daar nie behoorlike opleiding en duidelike leiding oor die toepassing van die kode was nie? Nog meer Speaker is, ons wag nog steeds op 'n verslag oor die regerende raadslid, wie se saak reeds lank afgehandel is. Waarom word daardie verslag nie na die raad gebring vir beraadslaging nie? Wanneer dit kom by oppositieraadslede, is daar skielik 'n geweldige dringendheid. Voorsitter, dit skep die duidelike indruk van selektiewe toepassing van die gedragskode. En laat ons nie vergeet nie, hierdie raad se termyn eindig oor ongeveer 2 maande. Waarom hierdie skielike fokus op dissiplinêre sake teen oppositieraadslede, terwyl 'n reeds afgehandelde saak steeds sloer? Speaker, die vraag is weer eens eenvoudig. Geld die gedragskode vir almal, of word dit gebruik wanneer dit polities geregeld is? Indien die proses werklik oor aanspreeklikheid gaan, Speaker, moet elke raadslid gedurende dieselfde behandeling, dieselfde standaarde en dieselfde dringendheid ontvang. Speaker, selektiewe aanspreeklikheid is nie aanspreeklikheid nie. Dit is politieke victimisering. Ons sien mekaar die 4de November, wanneer ons julle gaan uitvote, want julle is net vir
Thank you,
julleself.
Councillor. Thank you, Councillor. Your time is up. Thank you very much, Councillor. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please have a translation.
Speaker, the later part says that the process is very serious, whereby councillors do not comply with the code of conduct. There are serious charges against other councillors that did not comply with the code of conduct, And there's a report outstanding, and I then question, why is the report not tabled in front of this council, and why does it not come? And this only gives that impression that everything is done selectively, and why dealing with now such issues where there's only 2 months left with council, and why do we have to deal with such issues? The same rules must be put across. Each councillor must be treated the same and must not be selective. And all what you can say that this is the political victimization come the 4th of November. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The last person to speak on the item is the coalition. You have 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I would like to second the recommendation. But with that being said, Speaker, it's Women's Month, and women are supposed to be the example of our society, especially when you're a leader. So, Speaker, I am actually seconding the recommendation. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Councillors, in accordance with the rules of order, the chairperson of the disciplinary board would like to have the last say, which is entitled to. Councillor Neethling, have it brief, please. We're going to move on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would just like to inform the councillors that's complaining. I'm the chairperson, but hulle moet asseblief net nie my integriteit in twyfel trek nie. Dankie.
Thank you very much, Councillor. So
Speaker.
noted. Councillor,
Speaker, no, protect us. Please protect us. No, when we speak here, we don't speak on any other councillors, what you call it, message.
Speaker, why do you allow that? How do you allow?
No,
How do you allow that?
It must not be allowed because.
Councillors, I allowed you to say what you wanted to say, and I allowed him to say what he wanted to say in protection of himself, which is perfectly normal. You attacked, he feels his integrity was attacked, and he made a recommendation to you. So it's not a question of anything, and how everybody decided to climb on their microphones once again without being recognized. Councillors, this is why we have a problem in this council, because there is no respect and no discipline taking place. And if it's the last thing I do today, I will make sure that this meeting is conducted in a manner which is respectful and in dignity. And therefore, if you are going to call on people and chairpersons and call them whatever you want to call them, they have the right to protect themselves. I've made a ruling. I'm going to continue this meeting. The item is closed, and I'm going to allow no further discussion on the matter. And with that being said, I'm now going to move over to item 4.5. The item reads Appointment of Municipal Electoral Officer, and the first person to speak on the item is Alderman de Toy, and he has 2 minutes, please.
Good morning, Speaker, and thank you for this opportunity to address Council. But Speaker, allow me to congratulate Councillor Neethling a happy birthday today. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Councillor Neethling. Thank you, Speaker. The appointment of the Municipal Electoral Officer, the MEO, is dealt with in Section 12 of the Municipal Electoral Act 27 of 2000. The MEO exercises the powers and performs the duties of him or her under the Act, subject to direction, control, and disciplinary authority of the Chief Electoral Officer. It is also normal practice for the Independent Electoral Commission, the IEC, to appoint the MEO in consultation with a relevant local municipality. The former municipal manager, Mr. Godfrey Lowe, previously served as MEO. Mr. Lyndon Brown of the IEC has been acting as MEO for the interim period. It is proposed that a recommendation be submitted to the IEC for the acting Dr. D. O'Neill, to be appointed as MEO for George. I would therefore like to propose that the recommendation be amended as follows. That Council recommends to the Independent Electoral Commission that the acting municipal manager, Dr. D. O'Neill, be appointed as the municipal electoral officer for George. I thank you. I'll put it in the chat box. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The next to speak on the item is the ANC. You have 2 minutes.
Molo Speaker, Devakala.
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, Molo Speaker, Molwenzi colleagues. Speaker, iyaphinda ifika njenge-surprise le nto iqhubekayo. Besisajongile apha kuthiwe masinike uMr Belvin Elman ibe nguye i-MEO. But suddenly iyaphinda iyatshintsha ngoku kuthiwa masinike municipal manager omtsha ofikayo. Ekubeni besisandomsusa ngoku acting manager wethu okuthiwa uMr Elman samsusa uba ngu-acting manager. Nangoku siyaphinda siyamsusa kwi-opportunity ebesethe eyifumene and ebevumile kokuthi angasithatha esi sihlalo. But ke Speaker, si-ANC siyayinota ke loo nto yokuthi makonyulwe ulanduka u-MEO ongu-Mr Manager ofikayo. Enkosi Speaker.
Thank you. Can I have the translation, please?
Good morning, Speaker. This comes as a surprise, Speaker, what is happening now. We have just agreed or heard that Mr. Belvin Alman will be appointed as the municipal electoral officer, but now it changes that it be the new incoming municipal manager, Dr. O'Neill. Now we are again removing Mr. Belvin Alman, as he was the acting manager, and he was already now given the opportunity and he agreed, but now he is being removed again. But Speaker, we do agree to the proposal. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The next to speak on the item is Councillor Foster. You have 2 minutes. Corporate Services, where's the clock, please? Why haven't we got the clock on the screen anymore? Councillor Foster, your time is going to...
Goeiemôre Speaker, goeiemôre Council, goeiemôre almal, Meyer, Deputy Meyer. Nee, kyk, die PA het geen probleem in die beginsel dat Mr. Bevan Elman die electoral officer is nie. Ons glo en vertrou dat Mr. Elman 'n goeie werk gaan doen. Met die oog op die verkiesing.
Sorry, Councillor, I need to correct you. Just for your clarity, there was an amended recommendation that the new acting MM takes over the position. I just don't want you to misunderstand everything, because you're now saying that Mr. Elman is going to be the person, but I just want to correct you.
Okay, so as ek reg verstaan is dit verander. Nou my vraag moet wees, hoekom is dit verander, Speaker? Die PA stem glad nie saam dat dit verander word en dat die persoon wat tans is, meneer Elman, moet aanbly aangesien hy nou die hele tyd daai rol vertolk het die afgelope hoeveel maande. Nou ewe skielik voel die DA-koalisie nou om die aanstelling te verander, om nou 'n persoon wat niks weet van wat in George aangaan op die oomblikie, wat nou moet inkom en in daai belangrike posisie moet inskuif. Dit is 'n absolute skande dat ons dit so wil doen in die PA stem nie saam met dit. Ja.
A point of clarity, Speaker.
Councillor Hector, I'm going to ask you...
Ons kan nie op 'n point of clarity wees terwyl ek gesels hier, asseblief, Speaker.
Councillor, a point of clarity is about what you're saying.
Daai man verstaan nie die item, Speaker. Gee die item vir in Afrikaans, wat hy kan verstaan.
Councillor Hector, I'm going to ask you to withdraw that. Councillor Hector,
Speaker, hy moet verstaan die council rules.
Hy verstaan wat die council rules is. Kan ons met council rules verduidelik?
Councillor Hector, I'm going to ask you to stand down. Councillor Foster, I'm going to ask you to please continue with yours, but there's going to be no explanation. And if I may, for point of clarity, the reason why acting is appointed as that position is because of the decisions that need to be made. And Councillor, Mr. Alman has returned to his previous position. I just need to make it clear to everybody for the reasoning of that. And because there's a new acting the acting is expected to make the decisions, and Mr. Alman can't make those decisions in his current position. So I want to clear that up and the reason for this, for the recommendation. But you can continue, please, Councillor Forster. I hope I've given you clarity as to what your questions were.
Yes, Speaker, net vir clarity, dat hoef ook nie noodwendig net 'n te wees wat hy posisie vertolk nie. Die reël sê duidelik dit kan ook 'n direkte wees wat hy vertolk. So ja, ek is bly jy het Councillor Hector tot orde geroep. Is baie duidelik dat hy nie die council meer verstaan nie.
Councillor, stick to the item, please. Thank you. Councillor, stick to the item, please, and let's not go into personal viewpoints about people. I've taken him to order, and I'm not going to take you to order if you continue with him. Stay to the
Okay, Speaker, ons moet dit my tyd weer terugvat. Ons het daar baie tyd gemors.
Nee, jy het die tyd gemors, Councillor. So, Councillor, continue.
Ja, elke keer as hy interjection.
Your clock was stopped. So don't tell me how to run the meeting. Your clock was stopped and it is continuing. So continue with your item. You've got 30 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. As my mic weer, wat ek sien is die mic nou weer aan. Dankie. Nee, ons die PA staan glad nie vir die ding dat ons nou die electoral ou nou moet verander nie. Want ons voel Mr. Alman was mos nou die hele tyd daar, so hy moes eintlik aangebly in die posisie, maar dit maak nie regtig saakie. Die uitslag 4de November sal maar nog steeds dieselfde wees. Die PA sal dit ja tot dit maak die 4de November. En ek wil dit net so noem. En dan die laaste punt is die 4 miljoen. Ons soek net clarity.
Councillor. I'm going to call you to order. It's got nothing to do with the item, and I've asked you to stick to the item. Ek gaan nie toelaat dat jy skepskoppe die hele tyd vat nie. Asseblief. I'm going to ask for a translation.
Don't asseblief, Speaker.
I'm asking for a translator, but I'm also going to make this now a ruling for the rest of this meeting. Councillors, this may be our second last meeting, and I'm not going to let the rules and the discipline slip. We seem to think that this is a game, and it's not. We are here to discuss business, and we continuously start taking these liberties of trying to take on things. Whatever happens in the future, you are not a seer or anything like that. Let's stick to the items. The rules of order are clear. You speak to the item at hand and not dwell from that. Thank you. Can we have the translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. And PA said that they didn't have a problem with Mr. Alman remaining, but then there was an explanation given, and then he said that they, as the PA, do not support the change of the electoral officer, and the results will speak for themselves in the 4th of November. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, councillors. I'm going to continue. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Kuris. You have 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Speaker. The PBI takes note of this recommendation. Our position is simple. We want a fair, free, transparent, and credible election. Every voter must have a confidence in the electoral process and trust that every vote will be treated fairly. All we ask for is a free and fair election. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Lemony. You have 1 minute, please.
Speaker, die verandering van MEO's in de laatste 2 jaar is beslist 'n aanduiding van hoe George Municipaliteit hulle werk. En elke derde maand is daar 'n ander MM en elke derde maand het ons 'n ander MEO. Dit is baie sleg van die regering en ek hoop die kykers gaan daarna kyk die 4de November. Speaker, ons was ten gunste van meneer Alman, maar ons verstaan nou dat meneer O'Neill, Dr. O'Neill, moet vir die volgende 3 maande act. Ons hoop en vertrou dat hy reg gaan act in George en dat ons nie die gevalle gaan kry van daar van waar hy vandaan kom nie. Speaker, baie dankie. As die EFF sê ons sien mekaar die 4 November. Tot ziens.
Thank you very much. Councillors, I have a point of order, which I've just realized in the speakers, in the chat box. Point of order 28.2.9. Councillor Gultich, can you read the point of order, please, before you read your objection to it, or your point of order, please?
Sure, Speaker. The statement injures or impairs the dignity and honour of councillors. I ask that the allegation be withdrawn. This is the allegation that Councillor Foster made against Councillor Richard Hector. It was impairs to the dignity and honour of this councillor. Thank you.
Councillor, I did take it up with Councillor Foster. Councillor Foster, I'm going to ask you to withdraw the direct discussion with regards to Councillor Hector, please. As the rules of order are pretty clear, you cannot discriminate derogatory statements or anything towards a councillor in a manner which makes them feel afflicted. So, Councillor Foster, I'm going to ask you, as there is a point of order raised, and I'm going to ask you to withdraw that statement, please.
Speaker, I will not withdraw that statement because of the fact that Mr. Hector was the one saying, I don't know what I'm talking about. So then he also needs to withdraw what he said. Then I will withdraw it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. I think I will make an appointment with the two of you after the meeting so that we can resolve this issue properly, because I'm not going to have a handbag throwing session in this council meeting. Thank you very much. Seeing as though you haven't withdrawn it, we'll take it up after the meeting. Thank you. The last person to speak on the item.
Baie dankie, Speaker. Ek was sommer raise of a point of order.
Councillor Foster, I am going to continue this meeting. This is becoming...
No, I just want to raise on a point of order, according to the rules of order, that Councillor
Foster, first of all, you're not doing it according to the rules of order. You're basically putting your microphone on without my permission. So therefore, I'm not recognizing you and I'm moving on. This item is now going to be taken up by Councillor Barnard. You have 2 minutes, please.
Speaker, thank you. Before I start, can committee services just scroll up slightly on that item, just to above the recommendation, please. A little bit more, please. I just want to clear out a point of clarity. There we go. Stop there. It says very clearly that the former municipal manager, Godfrey Lowe, previously served as MEO. Mr. Lyndon Brown of the IEC has been acting as MEO for the interim period. So if we read our item, we will see it's quite clear that Mr. Bevan Elman was never the acting MEO for George Municipality. That said, Speaker, I'd like to move on to the item before us and the recommendation as amended by my colleague from the coalition, Johan de Tooy, Councillor Johan de Tooy. And I would just like to say that we are proposing that the acting Dr. Dean O'Neill, is appointed as the MEO. I would also like to congratulate and welcome Dr. O'Neill to the George Municipality at this stage. I think it must be great for him to have arrived here and to have heard that George is the second best municipality in South Africa as per the FW de Klerk Foundation's recent announcements. So welcome and thank you for joining our team, the team of the second best municipality in South Africa. And we welcome you and propose that you take over as our MEO for the municipal elections coming up on the 4th of November. I therefore second the amended proposal made by Councillor de Tooy that Dr. O'Neill become our MEO. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The item is therefore adopted and we will move on. Councillors, we're moving on to the last item of the open agenda, which is the late item proposed, number 4.6, late item proposed amendments and adoption of the George Municipality Building Control Bylaw. And the first person to speak on the item is Councillor Nias. You have 4 minutes, please.
Geagte speaker, raadslede en lede van die gemeenskap wat vandag luister. Ek wil dit baie duidelik staan, mense moet ophou om die waarheid te verdraai. Julle weet van wie ek praat. Ons koalisie het besluit dat die werkswinkel met 'n volle raad moet plaasvind, juis omdat hierdie saak so belangrik is en die insette van alle raadslede nodig is. Nie wat in die team begin gesê is nie. Daar's baie sake in die voorgestelde verordening waarmee ek persoonlik nie saamgestem het nie. Ek het duidelik gestel dat die meeste van die vereistes uit 'n ou nasionale regulasies en ERA spruit. Die aangepaste item is uiteindelik vir die artikel 80 komitee se vergadering van 6 Augustus aan alle raadslede gestuur. Die koalisie caucus het saamgestem dat ons nie met hierdie item kan voortgaan nie. Dieselfde dag is 'n vergadering gereël tussen myself, die burgemeester, die waarnemende bespaarbestuurder, die direkteur en regsdienste. Die saak is van alle kante bekyk. Die werklikheid was dat daar nie 'n manier was om die verordening op daardie stadium behoorlik en verantwoordelik te kan verander nie. Besluit is geneem om George se verordening as 'n geheel te onttrek sodat al die aspekte behoorlik nagegaan en hersien kan word. Dit beteken dat George voorlopig op die nasionale verordening aangewese is en ook dat daardie regulasie verouderd is. Daar sal dus beslis groter druk op die nasionale vlak uitgeoefen moet word om hierdie verouderde regulasies te verander. Ek weet dat die stad Kaapstad steeds baie verder gevorderd is met hierdie gesprek. As MMC van die artikel 80 komitee het ek self die item ingedra en ek het openlik en duidelik gesê wat my probleem daarmee is. Alderman Cronje het my voorstel geondersteun. Sodat ek weer sê wat ek van die dag 1 af gesê het. As 'n inwoner geld spaar vir die munisipaliteit deur byvoorbeeld 'n watertank of sonkragstelsel te installeer, hoe kan ons daardie persoon dan verder belas met onnodige planne, fooie, administratiewe rompslomp en selfs nog klein bouwerk laat betaal? Ons behoort daardie inwoners eerder te bedank en aan te moedig. Dan kry ons die ander kant van die saak. Baie mense bou onwettig. En raadslede van die oppositie dien 'n klagte in. Die munisipaliteit ontvang die klagte en moet volgens die wet dit ondersoek. En dan word 'n brief aan die inwoner gestuur. Skielik is dieselfde raadslid by die adres waarmee die brief afgelewer word, 'n foto word geneem, die foto word op Facebook geplaas en die koalisieregering word beskuldig dat hulle mense se huise wil afbreek. Dis goedkoop politiek. Ek het my ernstige besware teen hierdie optrede uitgespreek. Die munisipaliteit gaan nie krak rond en soek fout by mense nie. In meeste gevalle tree amptenare op nadat 'n klagte ontvang is. En laat ek dit baie duidelik stel, die doel van so 'n brief is behoort nie te wees om 'n struktuur af te breek nie. Die doel behoort te wees om die inwoner na die munisipaliteit te bring sodat ons kan bepaal wat gedoen kan word om die struktuur veilig en wettig te maak. Ek glo steeds dat die huidige briewe te kras is. En dan vra ek julle vandag met trane in my blou oë, waarom sou ons elektrisiteit laat aansluit by onwettige strukture? Die raad het goedgekeur. 'n Veilige wettige kragaansluiting is nog beter as 'n klomp gevaarlike drade wat van een huis na die ander ene loop. Ons praat van 'n munisipaliteit met 'n behuisingswaglys van ongeveer 20,000 mense. Ek sou binne die raamwerk van my bevoegdheid alles in my vermoë doen om te keer dat mense se strukture enigstens afgebreek word. Ons moet onthou waarvoor ons hier is. Ons is nie hier om mense op Facebook te probeer wen met goedkoop politieke punte nie. Ons is hier om die gemeenskap te dien, oplossings te vind, om mense te help, om onnodige rompslomp te verwyder. En ons is hier om seker te maak dat die armste inwoners van George nie die een is wat altyd die swaarste van die ouderde regulasies en onnodige administrasie dra nie. Daarom sê ek vandag, hou op met goedkoop politiek, hou op om die waarheid te verdraai, hou op om mense te mislei, bring die feite, help ons die stelsel beter maak, want uiteindelik behoort politiek nie daaroor te gaan wie die mooiste storie op Facebook kan vertel nie. Dit behoort te gaan oor wie bereid is om sy moue op te rol en die gemeenskap werklik te dien. I therefore recommend to council, is 'n verwys tot die ene, A, that the building control bylaw be repealed, and B, that all notices issued in terms of any contraventions of the National Building Regulations and Building Standards Act supported by the repealed bylaw be put in abeyance until a full report on the number of contraventions and the monetary value thereof has served before council for further consideration. Thank you, Speaker. I'm going to put it in the chat box.
Thank you very much. Can I have a translation, please? En Rasit, nee, sorry. Ek het nie geweet jy het blou oë nie, hoor.
Nou weet jy.
Can I have the translation, please?
Speaker, fellow coalition members of the community listening today, That is why I want to make it clear today that people must stop twisting the truth, especially when it's done to deceive the poorest and most vulnerable people in our community. We as the coalition decided that the workshop should take place with full council, precisely because this matter is so important and the input of all councillors are needed. Not that the item said is in the beginning. The workshop did take place. There are many issues in the proposed regulation that I personally disagree with. I've made it clear that most of these requirements stem from old national regulations and era. The amended item was eventually sent to all council members for this Section 80 committee. The coalition caucus also agreed that the item could not be continued the same day. And a meeting was held between myself and the mayor, acting municipal manager, and the directors and the legal services. Matter has been viewed from all sides. The reality was that there was no way to properly and responsibly change the bylaw of the stage. The changes were merely made as a side roads and not as properly reviewed by the bylaw. It was decided to withdraw George's so that all aspects can be properly reviewed. This means that George is temporarily dependent on a national regulation and is it outdated. There will definitely need to be greater pressure at the national level to change these outdated regulations. I know that City of Cape Town has already progressed much further in this conversation. As an MMC of the Section 80, I brought the item to myself, and Councillor Cronier supported, as after I stated my standpoint, the floor was open for each and every council member. After several opinions, Alderman Cronier proposed, and the proposal was given by me. So let me repeat what I've said from the day one. If a resident saves money for municipality by, for example, installing a water tank or a solar power system, how can we further burden that person with unnecessary plans, fees, and administrative red tape, and even make them pay for small building works? We should rather think and encourage those residents. Then we get the other side of the story. Someone does something that is possibly illegal. An opposition councillor files a complaint. The municipality receives the complaint and must investigate in according to the law. And then a letter is sent to the resident. Suddenly, the same council member is at the address where the letter is delivered. The photo is taken, the photo is posted on Facebook, and the coalition government is accused of wanting to demolish people's homes. This is cheap politics. I have expressed my serious objection to this action. The municipality does not randomly go around and criticize people. In most cases, officials take action after receiving a complaint, and let me make it very clear. The purpose of the letter should not be to break down a structure. The purpose should be to bring the resident to the municipality so that we can determine what needs to be done to make the structure safe and legal. I still believe that the current letters are too harsh. And then I ask you today, with tears in my blue eyes, why would we connect electricity to illegal structures? The council approved it. A safe legal power connection is still better than a bunch of dangerous wires running from one house to the next. We are talking about a municipality with a housing waiting list of approximately 20,000 people. I will, within the framework of my powers, do everything in my power to prevent people's structures from being demolished in any way. We must remember what we are here for. We are not here to try to win people over on Facebook with cheap political points. We are here to serve our community. We are here to find solutions. We are here to help people. We are here to remove unnecessary tapes. We are here to make sure that poorest residents of George is not the one always bears the brunt of outdated regulations and unnecessary administration. That is why I say today, stop cheap politics, stop twisting the truth, stop misleading people, bring facts to the table, help us make the system better, because ultimately politics should be about who can tell the most beautiful story on Facebook. It should be about who is willing to roll up their sleeves and truly serve the community. I therefore recommend, as the latest speaker said. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The next to speak on the item is Councillor Kleinans. You have 3 minutes.
Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. Am I audible, Speaker?
You are, Councillor.
Speaker, 2022, Junie maand, was hierdie bylaw verander of ingebring in George. Speaker, deur die beheerende koalisie wat nou weer in beheer is. Speaker, die beheerende koalisie is die voorlopers, of sal ek sê die kleinkinders van Hendrik Verwoerd van die KP en die AWB. Speaker, ek wil verder gaan, hierdie bylaw gaan nie net oor 'n bylaw nie. Dit gaan oor die kriminalisering van armoede. Die mense van George se armoede was gekriminaliseer deur hierdie bylaw. En vandag wil die beheerende koalisie vir ons kom sê dat hierdie bylaw kan net repeal word. Speaker, dit is nie waar nie. Die bylaw kan nie net repeal word nie. Want in die afwesigheid van hierdie bylaw is 'n bylaw in plek wat hulle noem die 1977 ordonnans, toe ek nog nie gebore was nie. So moenie, ek het 'n counter proposal in elk geval in die chatbox gesit. Deur u Speaker na die legal advisor en die acting MM toe. Is ek korrek as ek sê, as hierdie bylaw gerepeal word, dan is die national regulation of die ordonnans van 1977 in George weer in plek. Speaker, daai bylaw kom uit die hartseer era van apartheid uit. Ons kan nie staan onder so 'n wet nie. Daarom, Speaker, het ek 'n amended proposal ingedien wat sê ons moet, Speaker, as ons hierdie bylaw herroep, moet ons sekere stappe in plek sit om ons mense te beskerm. Maar die beheerende koalisie doen dit net vandag as 'n eyeblind om vir die mense te sê, ons maak hulle oë toe, Speaker, ons is lankal nie meer vakie. Ons kan presies sien wat die aangaan. Die bestaande sake moet gestop word. Die bestaande aksies wat daar reeds teen inwoners is, 'n inwoner in Marekam, Speaker, wat se huisie te klein is, moet R7,000 binne die volgende 7 dae betaal, of hulle vat haar hof toe. Dit is wat hierdie bylaw doen. So ons sê vandag ons repeal, maar ons worry nie verder nie. Because julle weet, Speaker, die prosesse, die legal prosesse wat moet follow, hierso, as ander prosesse wat moet gefollow word. Maar al wat hierdie koalisie is, hulle speel vir die media. En die voorsitter van hierdie komitee moet die waarheid praat, hy moet ophou lieg. Hy het my gebel die dag voor die meeting. Toe weet hy wat sy mense support die item nie. So hy moet nie hier kom, maar hy wys dan nou, want hy voel sy mense Speaker.
Councillor, before you continue, please stop the time. Okay. First of all, we are not going to make allegations of lying and stuff like that on an item. Please, you are basically putting someone's integrity on the line, and you may be in council, but that still does not give you the right to say somebody is lying blatantly. If you think he's lying or you have proof that he's lying, please, let's not use this platform. We know this is an open council and we know this is on YouTube. So let's not play to the cameras either. You cannot, on a meeting, call somebody a liar. And this has been going on for far too long, and I'm now going to put my foot down on this. People's integrity, regardless of who, what, and wherefore, has to be maintained in this council meeting. We are supposed to show respect for each other, and we are not. By calling people corrupt, liars, and so forth, say we are breaking the integrity of other people down in an open council meeting, and I'm going to put a stop to it today. Seriously, we cannot continue like this, Councillor.
Speaker.
If you want to make a point, by all means, make a point. But let's not get it personal and start attacking people's integrity and their well-being or anything like that in an open meeting. I honestly, it is starting to get to the point where we are making a mockery of this council. Thank you.
Speaker, belangrik is, die council het na die oppositie verwys en gesê ons speel op Facebook. Is belangrik dat ons Speaker, jy moet die wet toepas vir almal.
Jy moet nou net luister wat ek vir jou sê. The council never put a name. He didn't say anybody is lying. He said factually, he said they were talking on Facebook. He didn't call anybody a liar. He didn't point to any person in particular. If the shoe fits, Councillor, then unfortunately I cannot do anything about it. Okay, but I never heard him call anybody a liar or specifically one person. You are calling him blatantly a liar. And with that, I'm taking it you to task. Not the fact that anything. When you start talking to people personally, then you are starting to take on the integrity. Okay. The fact that you also mentioned apartheid and RVB and that sort of stuff, it's really, we are getting to the point where, yes, this is silly season, but this is council. We represent everybody in council. And this is what I'm saying to you. We are bringing back the dignity into this council chamber.
Speaker, I am
Thank you.
politically debating. I am politically debating and not attacking. Apartheid was wrong. This legislation was happening in apartheid.
Councillor, I'm going to ask you.
1970, Speaker, 1977 was the heart of apartheid. If we want to agree or not agree on that.
Councillor, let's continue with this item. You have 14 seconds left, but I'm telling you now, I'm not going to let you call people liars in this council meeting. That's the bottom line. And we can debate this afterwards, but when it comes to people's personal attacking, then I'm going to stop you. So continue for the next 14 seconds and continue with the point, please.
Speaker, my hand is up.
Councillor, I'm going to continue with this, the 14 seconds for Councillor Kleinans, please.
Speaker, I want to conclude my item, but I want to put it categorically. This bylaw, if we just repeal it today, it will not assist the poor people of George. There must be a process of stopping the current actions because there's a lot of people out there crying. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Jantjies. You have 1 minute, 30 seconds, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Good day, colleagues. This item deals with the
wrong Jantjies. Sorry, Councillor. Councillor Jantjies. Councillor Jantjies, please concentrate on the meeting because we are on item 4.6.
So
We're talking to the other Jantjies, Councillor D. Jantjies from the PBI. Thank you.
thank you, Speaker.
Thank you.
Speaker, die PBI se standpunt oor die boubeheer. Verordening, Speaker. Die PBI neem kennis van hierdie kritieke verslag wat vandag voor die raad dien. Ons erken die belangrikheid van die effektiewe, konstruktiewe en onwettige Is dit nou?
Continue.
Ons erken die belangrikheid van die effektiewe, konstruktiewe en wettige toepassing van munisipale verordeninge, veral die boubeheerverordening, maar Speaker, 'n wet het slegs betekenis indien dit billik, konservatief en sonder enige beginsels toegepas word. Die huidige stand van die sake in George raak in die implementering en toepassing van die munisipale verordening is uiters kommerwekkend. Die DA, ACDP en die Vryheidsfront administrasie moet verantwoordelikheid aanvaar vir die teenstrydighede en die groeiende frustrasie onder inwoners. Dit is totaal onaanvaarbaar dat verskillende gemeenskappe blykbaar aan verskillende standaarde van wettoepassing onderwerp word. Indien munisipale amptenare deur wetgewing gemagtig is om 'n verordening toe te pas, moet daardie wet gelyk op elke inwoner, elke eiendomseienaar en elke gemeenskap in George toegepas word. Speaker, selektiewe toepassing van verordening ondermyn die publiek se vertroue in die munisipaliteit. Inwoners het die reg om te vra waarom 'n bepaalde gebou, eiendom of ontwikkeling in een gebied streng aangespreek word. Terwyl soortgelyke gevalle elders blykbaar 'n ander behandeling ontvang. Die PBI sal nie 'n
time, Councillor. Thank you. Jy moet na die horlosie kyk asseblief, raadslid. Ek wil nie my stem verheffen om jou te stil te maak nie. Jou tyd is verby. Can we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. The PBI notes that the effective building control by law, that it needs to be more consistent, and as it is beginning the George, the implementation thereof in George is getting stuck, and the DA and the administration must take a full responsibility of that, and it delays the growth in George and also affecting the living standards because not the same law is being applied equally to all residents, and the law must be equally applied to all residents of George, of every society, And also it is quite inconsistent, and that's why the inconsistency led the people of George doubt the municipality. The PBI then object. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Kit. You have 2 minutes, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, this report confirms concerns that Good has raised with this administration about excessive red tape, unreasonable requirements for minor building works, and the treatment of Wendy houses. Speaker Good even submitted a motion calling for the immediate suspension of notices issued to residents regarding Wendy houses. In response to my written questions, the administration already acknowledged that changes were necessary. So we should be very clear, Speaker, that these changes and political U-turn is as a result of Good and other opposition parties and the residents who have been pushing back against these unnecessary draconian policies. The DA cannot continue defending outdated, burdensome bylaws and then claim credit when the pressure finally forces change. These draconian policies must change, Speaker. Regulation must protect residents and communities and not punish them with unnecessary red tape and costs. Good will continue pushing for practical, fair, and common sense governance. Speaker, the message that we have today is simple, that when Good raises the concerns of residents, we don't back down. We will push until the government of the day listens. We will continue to fight for residents and we will not betray the mandate given to us by those who voted for good representation in this council. We were elected to speak up, to challenge bad policy, and to fight for change, and that is exactly what we will continue to do. We are here to hold power to account, and we have done a very good job thus far. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The last person to speak on the item is Councillor Gultig. You have 3 minutes. M. Gultig. Let me just get that straight, please.
Dankie Speaker, deur u. Dit is belangrik om te sê dat die bekommernisse wat inwoners van George oor tyd gehad het, aangespreek word. Hierdie is nie die werke van een persoon of een politieke party se gedagteplan nie. Nee, dit is eerder maande se luister na verskeie rolspelers kommentaar, die reageer op uitgewyste bekommernisse en natuurlik nou die lewer van 'n beter besluit. En ek wil net die oppositie help. Die nasionale regulasie is actually hersien in 2025. En as ek reg kan onthou, het Raad se kleinhans die Section 80 met hierdie item gesekend. Dit gaan oor ons inwoners en wat vir hulle werk. Nie oor AI raadslede nie. Klein handjies, klein dopamien. Ons praat hier van gewone, praktiese dinge wat mense elke dag raak. Reënwatertanks, sonpanele en agterplaaswonings. Ons kan nie aanhou om 'n bylaw te gebruik wat in die praktyk probleme veroorsaak en dit dan net aanhou probeer lap en pap nie. Maar ons moet ook nie sommer net 'n nuwe bylaw aanvaar sonder om eers vir ons inwoners en ander rolspelers 'n behoorlike kans te gun om hul sê te sê nie. As die deelregerende koalisie is dit ons verantwoordelikheid om seker te maak dat ons munisipale wetgewing prakties, wettig, maklik verstaanbaar.
Just one second, Councillor. We seem to have councillors that think that their microphones are not their responsibility. You can continue to put their microphone off.
As die deelregerende koalisie is dit ons verantwoordelikheid om seker te maak dat ons munisipale wetgewing prakties, wettig, maklik verstaanbaar en in die beste belang van alle inwoners is. Ons luister, ons reageer en ons lewer. Speaker, ek stel daarom voor dat die Raad die bestaande George Municipaliteit se boubeheer bylaw herroep, soos aanbeveel. Daarna moet ons seker maak dat die nuwe raamwerk behoorlik opgestel, wetlik nagegaan en aan 'n behoorlike openbare deelnameproses onderwerp word, voordat dit weer na die Raad terugkom vir finale besluitneming. En Speaker, ek wil graag vir die publiek vra om versigtig te wees vir wat tans op sosiale media versprei word. As ek alles moet glo, dan is ek 'n 25-jarige blonde godin met 'n bankrekening wat selfs die koninklikes van Monaco arm sal laat laat.
Councillor, I don't hear you anymore.
Terwyl die oppositie net kan tiklieg en kla, bewys die koalisieregering weer eens dat ons luister, reageer en lewer onder die leierskap van DA burgemeester Brown Johnson. So ja, speaker, kom ons hou by die feite, die wet.
Councillor, just 1 second. I believe there's a point of personal information. Councillor Esu, you have a point of personal information.
Ja, speaker, jammer, dit is Councillor Foster. Ek wil net gou vra dat die councillor nie die raad mislei nie. 2022
Councillor,
was councillor Kleinans nie eers deel van die raad nie.
Okay,
Baie dankie.
Councillor, first of all, the fact is that wasn't a point of clarity. There was a personal point of clarity. I get that correct. It's information. But continue, Councillor Gultig. We're almost done.
So ja, speaker, kom ons hou by die feite, die wet en wat werklik in die belang van almal in George is. Daarom sekondeer ek die gewysigde voorstel van my kollega. Dankie, speaker, en happy Women's Month, ladies.
Councillors.
Speaker.
Councillor Kit, I see you have a point of personal explanation.
Yes, Speaker, I'm very concerned that you have not properly dealt with Councillor Gultig today. She's been totally out of order. She's been insulting opposition councillors as she pleases. This is not on, Speaker.
Councillor, in the first place, I don't react on my own.
Speaker,
I react. Councillor,
I would like to draw the statement that she...
Councillor, hold on a second. Okay, let's get this in order. Okay, first of all, you put up a point of personal explanation. You did not put up a personal point of order. Okay, so the two are separate. This item is closed. Okay, the fact that nobody objected to what she was saying during her statement has therefore made us mute, and I'm therefore going to call this meeting now officially adjourned as the open section, and we're going to move on to the...
Speaker, there's a counter proposal.
Okay, the counter proposal, before we continue, okay, just 1 second, please. First of all, councillors, I take it, Councillor Kleinans, if I may, that the counter proposal that you are proposing is the image that you've posted on the chat box. Am I correct?
Yes, Speaker, because I was struggling to type it in.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Councillor. First of all, if I look at your proposal, it is null and void because it is dated 2023 in this whole thing. And then I would like to ask the MM, all right, based on what has been said in the first proposal and the second proposal, are they not basically the same proposal? I just need to make that clear. And secondly, is what the second proposal making reference to, is it basically permitted? MM, through you.
Thank you, Speaker. Yes, the first proposal was the one that was read by Councillor Diwas. And the second proposal, I'm sorry, Speaker, if we can most probably just repeat that one. I didn't pick that one up.
Okay, I'm going to read you the second proposal because it wasn't actually read out. The second proposal is formele raadsvoorstel herroeping van die George Municipality Building Control Bylaw 2023. Die herroeping, it goes on to say, voorstel deur raadslid Marcel Kleinans, herroeping dat die George Municipality Building Control Bylaw formele herroep word, onderhewig aan die voorgeskrewe wetlike prosedures. Onmiddellike opskorting, dat alle verdere handhawingssaksies wat uitsluitlik ingevolge die huidige Building Control Bylaws ingestel is voortgesit word aan hangend die inwerkingstreding van die herroeping en die nuwe bylaw opgeskort word voor wetlik moontlik. Voor wetlik moontlik. Bestaande sake dat alle bestaande sake, kennisgewings en handhawingssaksies dringend hersien word en dat optrede wat uitsluitlik op die huidige bylaw gebaseer is, hangend die nuwe wetlike raamwerk op ys geplaas word. Beskerming van inwoners, dat die geen inwoner, huiseienaar, lae-inkomste huishoudings en klein sake eienaars onnodig benadeel word deur voortgesette optrede in gevolge die bylaw wat herroep word nie. Die nuwe bylaw wat 'n nuwe building control bylaw dringend voorberei word wat billik duidelik uitvoerbaar en in lyn met die behoeftes van George se inwoners is. Openbare deelname dat inwoners en belanghebbendes die behoorlike geleentheid kry om insette te lewer voordat die nuwe bylaw finaal aanvaar word en dat die munisipale bestuurder binne 30 dae aan die raad verslag doen oor die alle hangende building control sake en die maatreëls wat ingestel is om hierdie besluit uit te voer. Am I correct in saying that the two proposals are virtually the same? Because the one is saying that we therefore recommend to council that A, the building control bylaw be repealed, that all notices issued in terms of any contravention of the National Building Regulations and the Building Standards Act supported by the repealing by bylaw be put in abeyance until full report on the number of contraventions and the monetary value thereof has been served before council for consideration. Am I correct in saying that these two proposals are one and the same?
Speaker, yes. The way you've read it and the first proposal, the only difference that I can make out between the two is basically that there's a 30-day limit, that the report comes to council in 30 days. So that's the only difference that I can make out between the two. But I think it's also important that there should be a time limit to it, so that we do not have a backlog of cases that we would then need to follow up, once the report has served before council. Thank you.
Thank you, MM. Would you say, in your opinion, that 30 days is sufficient? I'm asking you. Because if you're having a comprehensive report, I'm just asking because in the same token, if we're going to have a report, it needs to be a comprehensive report and not a slapdash. So it needs to be done correctly and in accordance to making sure that everything is taken into consideration.
Speaker, I think it would be enough time if we allow for the report to serve before the council in October. That should be enough time for us from an administrative side.
Thank you very much, Councillor. So basically, Councillors, the only thing that changes is the fact that we have a time frame. So in October,
Speaker, sorry, can I just say something on this? It's very important.
As the chairperson, you may.
Yeah, I think the best is let it when the new council started, we change the whole situation, all that. We can't do it in a month's time. Definitely not according to me. It's a lot of stuff, it's a lot of things to work through and all that. And that's why we sent this whole thing, also repealed it, because it was so dear my God, you couldn't understand what's going on there. That is the one thing. But the other thing also, Kleinhans must retract what he said. I'm not for Wood and I'm not family of Herzog or any of that people and all that. And I'm taking a very serious obsession in that. But I think really we must.
We'll meet him at Afpop.
Yeah, we'll meet him at Afpop. But I think definitely we must do it first as possible after the new council has been elected.
Council, I'm going to ask you indulgence here. Basically, what this item has said is that everything gets put on hold regarding the current transgressions and stuff. And I'm going to ask that the two proposals are exactly the same from different sides of the table. Okay. And I think that needs to go, in order for this bylaw to be redone, we need the proper processes to go forward. So I don't think, in all fairness, that anybody is going to have any changes made in the next 2 months, especially with the fact that we cannot redo the bylaw. We cannot reinstate the bylaw before now. And with that in mind, I think I'm going to ask Councillor Kleinans, as the proposer of the second proposal, that we move forward in the status quo, that we repeal, as per your recommendations, both, and that the status quo remains as it is with the two recommendations, and that this proper bylaw then gets workshopped and nobody gets taken to task until such time as everything is sorted out and the bylaws, the building bylaw is sorted out. Councillor Kleinans, are you happy with that?
Speaker, yes, I agree with what you said. And thank you very much for listening today. Listening is a skill, Speaker. You are good at that. One last thing is, Speaker, the acting MM said about if we give 60 days before the end of October or the middle of October, that so that we can be sure, Speaker, that this action is being placed on hold. But I want to thank yourself and the acting MM for doing what is good for the people of George. And Koskapun.
Councillor, what I'm actually proposing is that it all stays status quo until such time as everything is in place. In other words, nobody will be followed until such time as the bylaw is in place. So there will be, and according to what has been read, the resolution here, that all payments and stuff is put on hold. So with that, I'm going to close the meeting.
Agree, Speaker, 100%. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I therefore withdraw the second proposal and we continue. The item is therefore carried. We will close this meeting. We're going to have a quick break for 10-15 minutes. So we just have a body break and we will continue with the confidential items at, let's make it 1 o'clock. It's going to make 20 minutes so that everybody can stretch their legs. Thank you.